Because your critical control points are going to be your storage temperatures, your handling of the meat, food transport. So they're really the areas of your supply chain where you can identify that something could go wrong that would affect the quality of that product. So yeah, like I said, HACCP plans generally required under a food safety scheme. True HACCP plans require third-party auditing pretty regularly. So if you're a holder of a New South Wales Food Authority licence and are required to have a food safety scheme, your HACCP plan needs to be independently audited, as well as you'll get an audit from the Food Authority as well. But I guess it's small scale. It's a good thing to have in the back of your head. What are the points in my process where something could go wrong? And what am I going to put in place to address those potential hazards? So while a full plan's not required for most retail businesses, it's a good way to start thinking about where potential issues could arise. It can be quite expensive to have a HACCP plan, and with all the third-party auditing and everything that's required, they're generally only for the really big players.
And even when they got them, like that Brazilian restaurant in ACT,
yeah,
with the lead-based product line.
Yeah, that's it, absolutely. And they can be, they can be so rigid that you overlook other things that aren't part of the plan as well. And we often find that with really rigidly documented food safety plans that there's almost not room to consider anything else. So you become really sort of focused on what you've written down as the issues, and you may sort of other issues might fall through the crack. And the other thing is it can sometimes provide a false sense of security for people who say, I'm complying with my HACCP plan, this is all I need to do, I don't need to think any further about it, tick the box and it's done. Yeah.
We are licensed with the New South Wales Food Authority for meat and transport and pigs and blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
But we also do vegetables.
Yep.
But does that mean that you would have nothing to do with any of our business because...
You don't retail from your site?
Well, not yet.
No. If you retail from your site, that's when I'll get involved. That's where you'll become part of our regular food safety inspection program. So Palerang looks at its high and medium risk food businesses annually, and we inspect everyone on complaint, like I said before. So if I did your annual inspection last week and I get a complaint today, I'll still come out again tomorrow and see what's going on. So the general rule is local government will get involved when there's a retail component from the site. And like I said before, Penny, if you're selling at a market stall or something like that, I can ask you questions about your food safety plans, your HACCP plans, and questions about the fit out of your domestic kitchen. So while I don't have an inspection role, I'll still be needing some of that information to be able to adequately inspect the retail component.
So if you've got a perishable food at the markets,
yep,
do you have to do temperature monitoring on site?
Absolutely, I'd suggest that. So everything that you monitor, everything that you record provides a defence for yourself in the event that something goes wrong. It's really hard to investigate food safety complaints. Basically all I can go on is your past history and what you can show me. So you can show me that you do hourly testing of your temperatures, that all your staff are trained. That's the best defence that you can provide, is this is how we do things, this is how we've always done things. And it's really all that I've got to go on, especially when investigating a complaint. So documenting things is great. It's not technically required by the standard, but I always encourage it to provide a defence in the event that something goes wrong. Yep.
Does every market stall need to have hand washing facilities regardless of what you're selling, or is it only if you're selling something that's not packaged?
Generally it's a requirement to have hand washing facilities where you're selling food. Now, in terms... Yeah, and
Hand
I
washing facility.
don't.
Wow, you were supposed to have them in the ACT.
Selling food already.
It's a requirement of the Food Standards Code, so.
No, any packaged food, and stuff.
And could it be shared between stores?
And that's what I was just about to say. I think, if the vast majority of people are selling low-risk foods that are packaged or they require some sort of further preparation by the consumer, like they're going to be cooked or they're going to be added to another product, I'd be happy to see shared hand washing facilities,
You're allowed
absolutely.
to share your hand washing facilities as long as you're no more than 5 metres away from the hand washing facility.
Yeah. In saying that, if you're
I
selling...
think your water is supposed
Yeah.
to be at 40 degrees C as well.
Yeah, probably
And
is.
if you're longer on the site than 3 hours, you're also supposed to have facilities
To-
to access a walk-in refrigerator.
Oh, okay. So where does that information come from? From the Food Authority?
By
Yeah.
the city of Sydney.
City of Sydney. Yep.
They can't go above and beyond the New South Wales Food Authority, can they?
Probably not. In saying that, with a lot of performance-based legislation, there's grey area. I can interpret it differently to, my colleagues at Queanbeyan or my colleagues at Goulburn, and we occasionally have some really good discussions based around interpretation of the Food Standards Code, and I think it's like that with most legislation. That's why solicitors do so well, because there's always room to argue another point, and sometimes I think legislation's written like that to allow for a bit of grey area. Look, City of Sydney have a lot of temporary food businesses. They have a lot of mobile food vans. They have a lot of good information on their site, but they're really, they have some large producers up there. They have a lot of high risk production. So I always like to use risk classification to determine how much time and how much effort you spend on something. Spend a lot of time and a lot of effort on the really high risk stuff, and help out the low risk people, provide education, do things like that. But yeah, so 5 metres for a hand washing facility. I would be happy with shared hand washing facilities for low risk packaged food. If you're producing and selling and processing high risk foods, I want to see you have your own hand washing facility. That's it. And then again, it's risk based. Sorry?
At the market stall.
Yeah. For you, packaged cheese, I'd be happy for you to share with the guy next door who's doing fruit and veg, or that's it, yeah.
Right at the Woden market.
Yeah.
Church.
Yeah, that's it. Make it a little money-making venture. Gold coin donation to use my hand washing facility. Yeah.
Yep. I probably make more money than I do out of
If
the
you're
market.
retailing, say, fruit on
Yep.
your farm gate,
Yep.
do we have to register with the council?
You're retailing fruit from the farm gate in terms of like an honesty box type arrangement or a small stall. I believe require consent from council under our new local environment plan. There's some pretty stringent requirements about what we can approve as well as size requirements and things like that, but they do require approval. And it's generally because they're located right on a road, and it's mainly traffic impact that we're looking at.
Entering persons are entering your property using the farm shed.
Well, you may fall in under a home business, I think, if they're entering your shed.
So it doesn't have to be registered.
All food businesses have to be notified to the New South Wales Food Authority. Yeah.
I'm trying to work out whether I need to do it with council.
Well, there's no separate registration for council. I have access to the New South Wales Food Authority registrations for people who register in Palerang. I get a notification email when a new registration in the Palerang area is done, and that was part of the getting rid of duplication. If you notify the Food Authority, I already know. So, yeah, that's it. And in terms of planning approval, you probably, unless you're setting up right at your farm gate, you probably do fit under the home business template. But if you want to erect like a roadside stall, then come and see one of our town planners and they'll talk you through the process.
So
are you saying then that if you're not doing anything to the food except for selling it as an apple or as a banana or whatever,
Yep.
you still, even though it's not, you don't require a license from the food authority?
No, because you're not processing that food
Yeah.
in any way.
But you still need to notify.
You still need to notify the food authority, and you still need to comply with the Food Act and Food Standards Code.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would that mean that, for example, I have to have an overtaking lane put on my road, for example?
Look, I really can't get into, specifics requirements, but generally that's what we'd be looking at in terms of an application, traffic generating sort of, safety. And I don't know whether it would require things like overtaking lanes. It's really quite specific to development and to a specific property, so it's hard to give kind of general information. You'd probably have to demonstrate that people can enter and leave the site safely, by whatever means. There's always going to be issues with those sorts of establishments on the King's Highway as well, because the King's Highway is a classified road and it's looked after by RMS. So every application that's a traffic generating application on a classified road, we have to refer to RMS and we have to get their concurrent approval. We can't give approval for something where RMS won't give concurrence. So
just out of the blue, let's assume that maybe on one of the main arterial roads.
yeah.
How do you classify?
Sorry.
How do you classify for RMS? How does RMS classify?
We've got a list of classified roads. So off the top of my head, King's Highway, Terrigo Road, the Goulburn Road, Bungendore Road, Captain's Flat Road, and there's a number of other ones. They're generally your main arterial roads, but there's a list of those. I believe it's on Palerang's website, otherwise it'd definitely be on RMS's website. Yeah, the Nerriga Road's a classified road, but yeah, sorry. Yep.
Just scratching.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I will wash my hands.
Hang on, I just got one more down here.
We're doing a community sort of market where
Yep.
we're allowing people to bring in like a basket of their homegrown produce and
Yep.
then we sell it as Southern Harvest.
Yep.
How do we go about notifying council about that, or do they
Again,
have to individually
Yeah,
notify
no,
council?
do your notification to the New South Wales Food Authority online. Generally, I suggest that each stallholder does a separate notification, but you could probably notify your stall as your Southern Harvest group, and that would be fine.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then get each individual stallholder to do their own.
Yeah,
so-
yeah. It's
Yeah.
5 minutes online free, I think, to encourage everyone to do. It's good. And also, once your Food Authority got your details, they use it for things like mail out, recall type information. So you get some good information from them.
I think we'll wrap up there with questions only that I'm sure Melinda's got a family to go home to. But you've got her card, and
Yeah.
I guess if she sends me info, I'll get Sam actually to send it back out, so a copy of the presentation. If there are other really big issues that affect sort of us as a group, then Melinda seems like she's really happy to talk to us. So.
I'm happy to come back. I'm happy for any one of you to call me and ask for clarification, or hit me with a scenario of what happens now.
Okay.
More than happy to provide advice. Like I said, it's part of my job that I really enjoy, working with people and being a bit proactive. So please ring me if you have any questions, email me, come and see me at council. And Penny, I'm more than happy to come back and talk about other stuff if you see the need.
Beautiful. Well, thank you.